Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, August 23rd. Welcome to the Plant Based Morning Show, brought to you, as always, as every single day, by Compliment. Lovecompliment.com is where to go for that. Am I right about that, Doug? Did I
Yeah,
botch
you're
that?
right.
Okay,
Yeah,
I suddenly
you're
thought
right.
it was CO, but I think that's our Outlier Health domain name. Ends in CO. Anyway, yes, lovecompliment.com. All kinds of plant-based supplements over there. The things you need, not too much of the stuff that's just optional, like get it to get ripped kind of stuff, or get it to optimize. It's what you need if you're gonna eat a plant-based diet. You need most of this stuff to get by. So anyway, that's what lovecompliment.com has to offer. All
And
right,
optimize and get ripped. You can do all that stuff with
yeah,
our products
you
too.
can, but that's not what the company's built on.
No, that's right. It's not the mission of the company is not to biohack
Get
or
ripped,
whatever to
right?
get ripped. It's to make you healthy, help you live healthier for
Help
longer,
you thrive. I think
help
they
you
say.
thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes. All right, good. Well, I this morning put up yesterday's episode. First day, I think, in over a year that I have forgot to do the podcast part of the show. I have no
Uh,
reminder system in place or anything. It just 2-3 o'clock rolls around in the afternoon. I think I got to get the show up. Yesterday, I just didn't do it. We had a monthly phone call sort of thing going on, and I just blanked on it. So anyway, I remembered it about 10 o'clock, no, 11 o'clock last night, and I thought I'm not doing it that late. So anyway, did it this morning. But also, I mean, we've been starting to get up earlier. Aaron's been starting to get up earlier. I've been waking up earlier because our school has started this week. And Doug, I believe you said
yes.
both daughters are just one in school yet.
One in first grade, first day of first grade today, and preschool
Ooh.
doesn't start till another week or so.
First day of first grade. That's a pretty big deal.
It
That's
is
like
a big deal.
That's real school. That's more than kindergarten.
Yeah. They have to actually like do work and stuff. No more nap times. Actually, they didn't have nap time last year either, but no, it is a big deal. It feels legit to have a first grader in school.
Right.
And you know what today means is it's also the beginning of having to make lunches every day again. Which I'm not all that excited about. I'm not gonna lie. That's not my favorite thing to do.
No, it's not anybody's. Well, I don't think it's almost anybody's favorite thing to do. What you need to do, get the daughters making their own lunch for themselves. That's what my daughter does. She does her own thing. So
When did she start doing that? How old was she when she started doing that?
I think last year when she started going to school again after a year of homeschool,
Mm-hmm.
went back.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah. It's just like right now we're just having them trying to just get them to eat breakfast, because
yeah,
it's earlier than they've been waking up all summer. But
yeah.
she has a pretty healthy lunch today. She has a big giant bean salad, chickpea and pea salad,
Okay.
um, and a bunch of fruit
Mm-hmm.
and a couple crackers and what else? Something else that I'm blanking.
Vegan cheese stick.
Vegan cheese stick. Nope, not a vegan cheese stick. Nope.
No.
So, something else I'm blanking on. Oh, hummus and carrots.
Okay. Very good.
And now that I'm saying this out loud, I think I forgot to put in the gummies, which she was super excited about.
Oh,
Little
good.
little
Nice.
treat. Oh no, this is not good. She's gonna be so disappointed. I think I forgot
Oh.
to put them in. Oh,
Uh
that's
oh.
sad.
Uh oh.
Yep. Oh no. Okay. All right. She was super excited about it. All right.
Well, tell her if
Now
she
that I
wants them
just
in
feel
there.
like a
Tell her make
terrible
her own
father.
lunch. Tell her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, Ellery today brought in a soup that we made last night. We had made soup. It seemed like a weird summertime hot weather thing, but I don't know, felt like I needed to cook something. Aaron took hold into practice, so Ellery and I were going to cook, and she said, let's make soup. So we did that.
Okay.
Made from the book Accidentally Vegan Italian Soups, which is a really good book to get, by the way, from my
Okay.
Kindle. That's where I got it. White bean soup with smoked paprika and potatoes and onions and carrots, all pureed. Leave a little bit of the stuff unpureed for texture, but really good soup. It was fantastic and it was easy, and we had everything at home, so it was a good thing to do. And then I thought I should make a soup once a week. Just it's so easy.
Yeah.
You
It's
can
so
make big
easy.
quantity. It's
Hearty.
cheap.
Can
It's
be.
good. Everyone eats it. Yeah, that's gonna go in my once a week rotation.
white beans and smoked paprika. That's like that's your jam right there.
Yeah, they go together very well. They always work.
I bought a can of white beans at the grocery store the other day because we talked about it, and I haven't cooked them yet, but I'm planning on just sautéing them up. Is that what
Yeah.
you said to do? Or no, that was the other beans, the
Lupini?
lubini
Lupini?
beans.
No, I don't saute those. I never have
No,
anyway.
okay.
I don't know what
What do
be.
you do with those?
I mean, mostly they're for just snacking. But
Okay.
we recently bought a dried version of them that you could make, and we'll figure out something to actually do with them.
Okay.
So I don't know about that.
No. All right.
Anyway, so anyway, school's back in full swing.
School's
Mr. Jeffrey says, yeah. Mr. Jeffrey says, why does school start so early there? And it's some new initiative about high schoolers are the ones who should be getting up the latest. They need their sleep the most. The younger kids apparently don't, or at least their schedule's different. They can go to bed earlier and wake up earlier more naturally. So the younger kids are now the ones who have to do that.
I think he's talking about starting early for like the summer. Like it's still summer outside.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's possible. I don't know. That just keeps getting pushed back. Kate says many schools in the U.S. Seem to be starting in early August now. I think they get more days off during the year, though. I don't know about that. No idea. But it definitely seems like everything's pushing back earlier. I heard I think in Massachusetts there's some state law that will not allow school to start before Labor Day or something. So that's one place where it's not happening. People don't like it that much.
They used to have that in Virginia, and it was because businesses and stuff would lose all their high school employees, their dishwashers and everything.
Oh,
go back to school.
Okay.
So I think especially up north, when the summer kind of is on the back half of the summers when people are doing all the traveling, right?
Right.
They tend to start later, but I mean, like Georgia started, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
And Florida started over a week ago. Anne-Marie says, I think last week is when Charlotte schools started. We're in South Carolina, so we started this week. Yeah, it's strange. I don't know why. I heard about a school. Someone told me on the golf trip that there's some school they know of nearby that adds 10 minutes per day to the school day. And as a result, they never have to worry about snow days or anything. And they can they never have to make up days because they have added 10 minutes per day. And I guess.
See, that is a law gone awry, right? Because what are you actually learning in 10 minutes a day versus missing a whole day of school? Nothing, right? Maybe you spend a little bit more time on a lesson or something.
Everything's a little longer. Yeah.
I mean, just barely, just a couple minutes longer, right? But if you miss a whole day of school, like you're gonna miss the whole day of lessons, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I don't know. You're still in the same. You get the same amount. You're a little more learning done every day that you're in the lesson. But you're right. If as far as if it's a topic per day or something like that, you don't get. You have to shift gears mid class. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, I think it's a good idea. It seems
it's a good idea for the kids. I mean, for everyone, parents, kids. Not for the learning environment is what I'm talking about. But it's a good idea for not having to make up school days. So that's the worst.
Yeah, right. No one wants to be doing school early. It is nice when the kids get out in May, though. I do like that. It's good. Anyway, that's back to school. I think I said I haven't yet gotten up. Aaron's done it 3 days now, and pretty soon I'm gonna have to do mine, I guess. I am sleeping a lot better than I used to be. I don't know what has caused it, but it's good. So maybe I'll be more successful this year with the wake up. Anything else, Doug? You did some pull-ups before this. How's that all going?
It's going.
Same. Okay.
Same old. I'm in the next. I'm gonna do a 6-week sprint here. Hold me to it. Do a 6-week sprint. In 6 weeks, I'm gonna do pull-ups live on camera.
Okay. All right. Great. How many? You can do 5 live on camera?
Well, I don't know. We'll see how many I can do, but that'll motivate me to actually do it.
All right. 6 weeks from now, that'll be like October 1st or so.
Okay.
You'll do
Bring it.
Pull-ups live on camera. Okay. Good. All right. Well, we got a lengthy weather report today. Actually, a jam-packed weather report. I was pleased to find lots of interesting news today. So let's jump into that and see where we get. I did include your mushroom thing in the weather report today. You'll have to let me know if I got the part that you wanted to talk about or not. But here we go. It's August 23rd. All right, Doug. Speaking of crypto, our favorite industry, which I haven't heard anybody speak about actually in like 6 months. Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, his lawyers are saying he cannot prepare for his upcoming trial because he's having to subsist on bread, water, and sometimes peanut butter. And this is because they won't give him his ADHD medication or vegan meals that he wants. So he's just defaulting to this handful of ingredients that I guess are always available. I don't know. And he's having to eat these things. So, not that we are SBF fans, but he is vegan, and I guess we got to stick up for the vegans in prison. He's in Brooklyn prison and can't get what he wants. And apparently he's continuing to follow his principles, so he's not budging on that. Good for him. I like that as a vegan. I guess. I mean, I don't know. And he has to adopt the Spartan diet because he's being served a flesh diet, as they said. That was their quote: served a flesh diet. And right now, he can't prepare for his defense or reasonably assist in his defense. There's no way for him to help the lawyers at all because he can only eat these foods, which that seems a little bit of a stretch. But the ADHD thing, I guess that's a lot more possible, that it's feasible.
Yeah.
If you can't get that medication, maybe you can't really do much.
Two things stand out to me here. One is if you're prescribed medication, you should be able to get it in prison. Like
right.
that, no doubt about it. And the second one is why are the only vegetables or vegan foods that they're serving are bread and water and sometimes peanut butter, right? Like there's no other vegetables in there. There's nothing else that like no fruit.
Yeah, that's a good question. Or maybe he just can't get it.
Like that just seems weird. Like that they wouldn't at least serve a full meal.
Well, maybe there's like a vegetable that like goes with the steak meal that they're serving, but you can't just get the side of vegetable. I mean, I have no idea. Yeah, don't know how things go in the Metropolitan Detention Center where he is in Brooklyn. And apparently, this article says it's the troubled Metropolitan Detention Center. So I guess they've got other stuff going on too. That's not great. It held Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know who that is. Anyway, that's your crypto update for the day. On to the next. This is a little bit of surprising news here. The Global Data has reported on what companies are applying for plant-based meat patents in the past 2 years, August 2021 to 23. And the three big ones, Nestle, DSM Firmenich, which I think is an ingredient supplier, and Cargill, they're the top three. Nestle had 333 applications for patents, Cargill 119. Compare this, though. Impossible Foods only had 19 applications, and Beyond Meat only had 4 during that whole period. And 2 of them were for the Stack Burger and the Smash Burger, I think. So, so they're not doing much innovation over there at Beyond Meat at all. Nestle, 100 times the patent activity. So,
do you think that they're actually going to plan to make those, or are they filing patents so that Beyond Meat can't?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know with patent use.
Is this a way to protect them against a growing plant-based meat industry, or are they trying to invest in this? I don't know.
Right? Maybe they're just squatting on the patents. I think eventually you have to show evidence of use of the patent. I'm not really sure. So that wouldn't work for too long. But yeah, who knows? But even if they are, Beyond Meat, you would think could come up with the ideas faster than Nestle could think of all potential ideas and patent them. So I don't know. Anyway, just seemed a little bit weird. But the good news, if it's not just a squatting move, is that Nestle. I mean, I don't know how much of this is very recent, but at the very least, it looks like somebody sees some potential in this food niche. Speaking of which, Mr. Jeffrey will like this one. The Better Butchers is a Canadian startup specializing in cultivated meat. They're going to be the first. They say they're going to be the first cultivated meat available on the market in Canada. I don't think they've applied for any sort of whatever the FDA is their equivalent. I don't think they've applied for that approval yet, but I don't know. But they're also going to open the world's first cultivated meat butcher shop in Vancouver, Canada. Is that exactly Mr. Jeffrey's city?
Oh.
I think it is, right? I don't know. He's in British Columbia. He'll have to tell us. Anyway, the name The Better Butchers you will notice if you pay attention to this show, sounds like the very good butchers who went out of business earlier this year. Turns out it's the founder, Mitchell Scott, not Michael Scott. And that company has pivoted now from whatever they were doing, which was a plant-based meat, I guess, and now they're doing cultivated meat. And they're going to be a butcher shop for this cultivated meat, which is kind of a cool idea.
That is a cool idea, but they're not going to make the cultivated meat. They're just going to be a butcher shop.
I don't know, because it says they want to be the first cultivated meat available on the market in Canada. So I think they are going to make it and butcher it. I mean, what value does the butcher add here? There's sort of plant-based meat butchers that just sounds like kind of a novelty, funny thing. This, I don't know if it doesn't come on the bone, unless that one company gets involved and starts putting plant-based bones in the cultivated meat.
Oh yeah, edible plant-based bones.
Yes, right. Was that meat? Not Meaty Foods. I forget who that was. Oh, Juicy Marbles. That's who it was. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what the butcher will do here. Do they have some ability to like slice and chop the meat that no other one's going to have, and it's going to seem so real because of that? I don't know. Maybe, but
it's interesting though.
Yeah,
it'd be cool to go to a cultivated meat butcher shop.
It would.
No harm. No animals were harmed in the production of this cultivated meat.
Yeah. How would they create the vibe though? Like, would they have the big flanks hanging in the background and all the blood everywhere? I don't know. It's not gonna be the same. But I guess that's might be kind of nice actually to not have that vibe.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next one. Yes, IKEA, Doug. You know IKEA, right? Of course you do.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So we earlier talked about how they were making the plant hot dog, which is not their veggie dog, that one that looks like a Dr. Prager's veggie burger where you can see all the veggies. That's their current hot dog, and they're actually pretty good. But they're making a new hot dog that is matching their real hot dog. But they have a new San Francisco location that opened, I think, just yesterday. Everyone else is moving out of San Francisco, doesn't want any part of it. A lot of businesses are leaving there, have left there. But IKEA is moving in with this kind of mini store. It's 3 stories in a mall, but it's not as big as the normal IKEAs. But the important part, the reason it's in this show, is they've got new plant-based dining options at their Swedish Bite and Swedish Deli. Swedish Bite is on the store's street level, has prepackaged refrigerated meals. So I guess that's not for eating in IKEA, but rather to take home with you. Sustainable plant-based options, plant-based lasagna, vegan cinnamon buns. That sounds pretty good. They've already got one in Tokyo, and I don't know anything about it, but at least it's working, or at least it's happening. And then Swedish Deli, 68-seat restaurant. You can get the plant-based version of their hugely popular Swedish meatballs, as long as some other veggie balls and things like that. So that's good. And this place also is like in the mall where it is. There's also a plant-based food hall in the place, or a largely plant-based food hall. So IKEA is all into this. They've been saying they said if we convert 20% of our meatball sales to plant balls, that would mean 8% reduction of our climate footprint for the food business at IKEA. Sounds like a small win.
I mean, this is great, right? It's great. I don't understand the fascination with the food at IKEA. I never have gotten that. Like,
I think it's because everyone hates the IKEA, or is so tired and starving at the end of their IKEA trip that anything would taste good, and Swedish meatballs or whatever just hits the spot.
I mean, in general, I'm not a fan of having to spend like 15 minutes walking through furniture in order to get to a restaurant, but
is that all it takes? 15 minutes? I think it
takes a long time to walk. An hour, okay, yeah, an hour, right? But if you were just skipping everything and just going, beelining it to the veggie balls,
yeah. You can get there faster. You can take right in the door. You can take immediate left and go right to the food if you want.
Oh, really? Oh, you can.
If you wanted to. At least.
But who's gonna do that? I mean, who does that?
No, of course not. Right.
I mean, it's like the people. It's like the hot dog at Costco. It has like a cult following, right? The hot dog and soft drink for $2 or something like that has like this. Like, it's a big deal, right? Mm-hmm. But who's going to Costco to get a hot dog, right? You go to Costco to get all the other stuff,
right?
And then you pick up a hot dog.
Well, that matches my hypothesis. That's probably also another long, painful trip. You're shelling out all this money, and then finally at the end, you say, "Just give me a food, $2, really cheap." And IKEA's is cheap too, so they just give you that and keeps you coming back, maybe. So okay, yeah, I think you're right. They've got a lot of interesting packaged food there that always looks intriguing, but it's never vegan or not very often.
Hmm.
Oh, I think it's all like legit Swedish food.
Hmm.
Anyway, on to the next thing, and the next one is Next Level Burger from Portland, Oregon. They're tooting their own horn, saying that they're disrupting the fast casual industry with their sustainable offerings. So they didn't wait for the media to declare that; they're just declaring it themselves, and they're doing so because of a survey they put out that got 339 respondents, a whopping 339 respondents in 5 key markets: Portland,
Wow.
Denver, Brooklyn, San Francisco, Seattle. They said they didn't include Texas in their key markets they surveyed because they already know that Texas people who are choosing Next Level would otherwise be choosing a big steak dinner or something. So they're already got disruption covered there. So they just left that out, according to them, and instead surveyed these other markets. Anyway, what came of these surveys is that nearly 20%, 21% of the respondents said they would have opted for an omnivorous meal at another restaurant or at home if they hadn't chosen to eat at Next Level Burger that day. So
Okay.
that, I mean, probably true of just about any vegan meal from a non-vegan person. I mean, basically, that's
Yep.
just saying that 21% of people aren't vegan.
Yeah.
Although, actually, no, 52%, 52.8% of their survey respondents did not identify as vegans, saying that, well, obvious conclusions from that. So anyway, their point is this isn't a vegan place. They're not just, swapping one vegan food for another. They're actually disrupting the industry by getting people to stop eating meat and go eat this instead. So therefore, we should all applaud them.
I mean, sure. Sounds great. I think Next Level Burger, great, awesome. 339 people is not enough of a sample size for anything. So
Even if it was enough people, to me, all this shows is that someone at the company had the insight that they could ask people if they would have had an omnivorous meal, and then they can use that information to say they're disrupting. Because I think any vegan place in the world, you're going to get this.
yeah, right.
Maybe not any, but almost any, especially in the fast food place, you're going to get the same result. So they're not disrupting. They're just part of the movement, which is maybe disruptive.
Mr. Jeffrey says that according to him, Next Level Burger is the best vegan burger chain I've had, better than Slutty Vegan and Plant Power.
Wow. I didn't know Mr. Jeffrey had Slutty Vegan. Maybe he told us that.
He did. Yeah, I remember that.
He went to Atlanta?
I think so. And Kate Rivercat says, I've worked with people who went to Costco for lunch under $10. I mean,
yeah.
I guess that's a thing.
And can you go directly to the lunch at Costco? You don't need to walk through a maze to get there.
Yeah, I think it's just right on the entrance.
Don't people go there just for samples?
What I would like to know is if anybody has been to IKEA just for lunch or dinner. Skip to the furniture, straight to the IKEA lunch.
Right. Don't think I've ever done that. Even when I was not vegan. No, for sure not. But I almost always get something to eat. Those hot dogs at the end, it's 2 veggie hot dogs for 75 cents each or something is a great deal. And they're good. They're actually very, very good. They're not hot dogs.
Never eaten at an IKEA.
Jeez. What are you doing? What do? You go to an IKEA huge trip, and then at the end, you're like, just pass on the food.
But usually I'm so grumpy. I'm just like, get me out of here.
Definitely grumpy.
Uh-huh. I don't associate much joy with IKEA. No, which is too bad.
It's such a fun start. The beginning of IKEA is great.
It is. Yeah.
And then it just goes to, especially if you bring kids, it's that you're asking for a nightmare situation. Okay. This is a kind of a big one.
Here we go. Allie says, my kids and I used to meet my husband for lunch at IKEA. So there we go. There we go. It does happen. All right.
Good. I meant to ask one more thing about Next Level Burger. I was thinking for a while that Next Level Burger was Lewis Hamilton's place. What is Lewis Hamilton's? We may have incorrectly said something earlier. Google knows.
Neat Burger.
Okay.
NEAT Burger.
Okay. Well, those Next Level Burgers, I'd love to try one. I think they're only in the West Coast right now. But they plan on having 1,000 locations by, I think, 2025. So that's not really that long. That's a year and a half from now when 2025.
They should start popping up everywhere.
Happen. Yeah, right. Anyway.
How many Chipotle locations are there? Like, what does 1,000 look like?
Well, 20 per state would be 1,000. Obviously, different size states. I bet Chipotle has not much more than 1,000.
They have 3,200.
Okay.
3 times that.
3 times. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, on to the next. This is kind of bigger news that I didn't choose for the show because it just seemed too serious. But new Stanford study happened. They reveal how meat and dairy industry lobbying has influenced government regulations and funding to stifle competition. I don't know if they came into this with some agenda or if they just kind of wanted to look at it. But anyway, what they determined was that about 800 times more public funding in the U.S. and 190 times more lobbying money goes to animal source food products than alternatives. I don't think there's a problem with the lobbying money figure there. I think you're allowed to do that, right, Doug? There's no as long as it's done, I'm sure certain rules around it, but that just shows that they either have more resources or value it more. So that's fine. But then that 190 times is turning into 800 times more public funding. And in the EU, it's even worse. 1,200 times more funding and 3 times more lobbying money goes to animal source food products. And plant-based meat patents, as we talked earlier. It says in both regions, nearly all plant-based meat patents were published by a small number of private companies or individuals, with just one U.S. company, Impossible Foods, owning half the patents. That completely contradicts what we said earlier about Nestle and all that. So I don't know where that comes from or what. I don't know, but I wondered that I included this. So no word there. But anyway, the point is, I mean, there are other articles and things about this I've seen that are saying huge, massive conspiracy. Look at what the meat industry does. And then they get into the labeling law stuff and all that stuff. There's a lot of people saying conspiracy. It sort of just sounds more to me like they just have a whole lot more money and they're protecting their position. So I'm not saying it's right, but I don't know. I just don't see what the huge deal is here.
Yeah, I mean, my gut, or like when I read it at first, I was like, "Oh man, this is terrible." But then, I mean, if you think about it, like 800 times more public funding, there's certainly the industry has to be at least 800 times more bigger, right? Like the meat industry.
I thought the plant-based meat was going to be like 3% or something of the whole thing.
So how many more times how many times bigger would that be?
30 times.
30 times. Okay.
I'm just guessing. I don't really know.
And
yeah, so plant-based meat share in 2022 was 2.5% of total retail packaged meat dollar sales, or 1.3% of total something. So it's in that 1 to 300 times range. So 800 is bigger than that. Sorry. It's
all right. That is bigger.
130 to 100. So yeah, much bigger.
I mean, like it's no secret, right, that the only way that the meat industry survives and the dairy industry survives is that it's propped up by public funding. Right.
Yeah.
And so this number doesn't really surprise me. It seems less like a conspiracy against the plant-based meat and plant-based industry, and more of just like a bad series of events that have happened over the last 150 years. To lead to this point. Yeah. Right. But I mean, that doesn't mean it shouldn't change, right? It has to change. It's going to have to change. And and if you think about what if the shift went towards cultivated meat, investing in innovation for cultivated meat or different plant-based meat sources, or just beans, like how we could make growing plants and plant foods more sustainable and healthier and get them into people's mouths. I mean, like that shift is going to have to come, but this number does not surprise me. It doesn't seem like there's some major conspiracy. It just seems like it's been a backwards food system for the last 100 years.
And what are you doing to bring about that shift in your community, Black Mountain, where you are a town council member?
Well, I can tell you that there is zero funding going towards the meat industry, and no funding, no Black Mountain funding is going towards meat.
You removed it? You stamped it out?
No, there just never has been.
All right. Well, that's good. You can be proud of that.
I can be proud of that. We are investing in a lot of environmentally friendly initiatives. So and waste reduction initiatives.
And some money going to farms that are growing vegetables?
No. None? We don't support any food system stuff.
Not even mushroom?
No, not even mushroom. Wow. But if a mushroom company wanted to come in, and needed some help, I can't.
They could DM you on Instagram.
Yeah, damn me. No, I'm just kidding. I don't actually mean that.
No, of course not. All right. Speaking of mushrooms, Doug, you wanted me to include this thing which we almost talked about yesterday, but didn't. It sort of was. It was under the headline of a whole different thing about some kind of new white mushrooms that this company claims are the best meat substitute. Anyway, they put a bunch of interesting stats in there, and here's what those stats are: that the global mushroom market is expected to be worth $63 billion by 2027. That's a growth rate of 8.7% annually. There's a construction of a smart mushroom facility underway in Texas with the aim of producing 50 tons of American enoki mushrooms per day to reduce the country's dependence on imports. And finally, UK supermarket Tesco said that sales of exotic mushrooms were booming due to growing interest in plant-based food. Sales had increased from one of their suppliers, Smithy Mushrooms, from 370,000 packs per year to over 1 million. I don't know if that's like just in the past year or how long time that tripling happened. They've had to turn away customers, and they described the plant-based boom as the best thing that's ever happened to our business. So they're going to love it when the plant-based meat dies, and then they're like go up a notch on as far as meat substitutes. So maybe mushrooms is the place to invest your money. And finally, managing director of Smithy Mushrooms says suddenly exotic varieties like oyster and shiitake, which just 5 years ago I was struggling to sell, have become super trendy.
Yeah, I think this is awesome. I think that we are normalizing mushrooms more, and not just portobello mushrooms. I think, having that be an option for people to add a little bit more meaty texture, to add a little bulkiness to a meal, I think I love it. I think it makes sense, right? If people want to eat healthier but don't want to spend a ton of money on Beyond products or Impossible products, then this is an easy way to do it. Of course, some of these mushrooms are pretty expensive.
Yeah,
still, it's not going to be cheaper than the plant-based meat, but I think it's great. You actually left off the part that I wanted to talk about, which was this article that it's gone. Where'd it go? You deleted it from yesterday.
Did I? Okay. It's at the bottom. Mushrooms booming. Very bottom of the show plant.
Oh yeah. Okay. So it was this Highline mushroom grill caps are the next meat alternative. And it's basically just a mushroom cap that they're telling you to grill, which cracks me up because that's what vegetarians have been doing for forever, right? Like that used to be the only way you could get a veggie burger was a mushroom burger. That they just took a portobello cap and grilled it.
Right.
And I mean, no one liked that. Like everyone, was okay with it, but I don't think anyone was ever excited about that mushroom cap. And I think it's just hilarious that Veg Economist is playing this up as the new ideal meat substitute. It's just a mushroom cap.
Yeah, I think Veg Economist gets paid by some of these companies to run these articles. I don't know. I'm not accusing them of that. I just sort of always assume that because they have a lot of feature articles that feature a brand, and then below that they'll talk about it. So yeah, they talk about these Highline mushrooms. Their new white grill caps are the perfect meat substitute. And they talk about delicate texture, earthy flavor. They have their own umami taste. They also readily absorb smoky flavors. This sounds like every single mushroom I've ever heard of. So I don't really understand what's new about this. But the point is correct. They actually really are a good meat substitute that I think often is overlooked. Like you really can make a lot of good meaty texture in like a bolognese sauce or I don't know, taco filling probably. And sometimes they add almonds in there or not walnuts in there with it for some reason. But yeah, they work really nicely as a meat substitute, and it's natural and real and unprocessed. So I think it's great.
It's a single ingredient.
I should get more of it. Yeah, it's great. That's why Meaty Foods makes mycelium-based steaks, and those are pretty good. Not that it's the same as mushroom.
This next article has some mushroom in it too, I think.
What's our next one? This tempeh thing? Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's go to that. So that's the end of our weather report. This one I didn't put in. It just seemed a little bit longer discussion, maybe. This is from greenqueen.com.hk, who does have always very good articles. The headline is exclusive. Malaysian startup debuts world first, in quotes, tempeh beef mince. So we've talked about mince before. Mince means ground beef if you are not from the United States, or maybe not from North America. And you look at the package, it looks just like a pack of ground beef you get from the store.
I'm going to throw it up on the show here.
Good. But it's made from tempeh, which is very surprising because it's pink and looks like beef and looks nothing like tempeh at all. So
no.
Also on the package it says swap for beef, hashtag simple swap. That's kind of interesting that is even allowed to be put on
I
there.
like that. I think that's a great idea.
You're right. It's a nice. It discloses that it's not the real thing,
Hmm.
which the meat industry should be happy about,
But
and it
but
also
it
tells
does.
you to swap it.
I mean, made fruit tempeh is larger, but it also says beef pretty large there too. So you could see how that could
Yeah,
be.
yeah, right.
That could be a little confusing. So,
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, there's not a whole lot that is newsworthy here, except that they made this beef from tempeh. They say it's contains a base of tempeh, textured soy protein, and shiitake mushrooms. So there's your mushroom mention. Vegetable oil, isolated soy protein. So that's the third form of soy protein in here, after tempeh though, which is the first. An unspecified thickener. You're always going to get that. Flavorings, beetroot powder. There's your red color. Soy sauce and sugar on top of that. 11 ingredients only. I didn't even see salt. Oh, soy sauce. That's nearly half of the ingredients in Impossible Foods' beef mince, they say. And also, this is cheaper. I think this is about half the cost of Impossible Foods per pound, and on par with regular kind of quality beef, I guess. So it seems like a really interesting thing. The question is, does it really taste at all like beef, and does it seem like it? And if it does, then that's fantastic, because the reason the plant meats, everything I see about these plant meats, why they have failed, it's taste and it's processed ingredients. And
hmm.
so the problem is, to fix one of those things, you give up something of the other. So to solve both of those problems is very hard. So this has clearly solved or improved on the ingredient list. How much a hit will the flavor take compared to those more processed versions? Who knows? But I
Where's the fat come from? Oh, vegetable oil.
yeah, just vegetable oil.
Mhm.
So see, that's not great, but I don't know. It's better than coconut oil, actually.
Yeah,
And I mean, as far as health goes, uh, it
yeah.
doesn't.
I think this is awesome. I am a big fan of this. I like the cleaner version. Cleaning up the plant based meat.
Right.
Um, and I love that it comes from tempeh and soy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know. I think this is great. I would love to try it. And half those ingredients are just like soy sauce, the flavoring type stuff, sugar.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. So they still have, just like Beyond Meat, they still have some sort of textured bean protein in there. In this
Hmm.
case, it's soy. The Beyond, I think, is pea protein. But you've also got whole tempeh. I assume sort of whole. You've also got shiitake mushrooms. So they're just filling it out with some more things that are real. And then I think, based on this, I'm not that familiar with those food labels, but I'm pretty sure the Beyond Impossible have a bunch of things that sound like chemicals that people don't like. So if they can keep those names off the list, and we don't know if they can, because it does say unspecified thickener and flavoring, so those may end up having names that don't sound so good. But if it's an improvement, that's a great thing. So I'm also excited. I would like to try this, but right now it's only going to be in Indonesia, so not yet. Or no, I guess it's Malaysia. In Kuala Lumpur they tested it. So yeah, there you go. Tempeh meat coming. All right.
Singapore, Malaysia, and Australia.
Oh, okay. So Australia, we probably have an Australian listener here. You can tell us how it is. Any word on when it comes out? I don't see that right now, but it's a lot of words, so might not find it. All right. Last bit of thing for the day. New York Post. This is a good one. Interesting. So New York Post, we've done not that many recently, but in the early days of the show, we did a lot of New York Post vegan articles. They're all train wrecks of articles about, often train wreck people who are doing some crazy version of the diet and neglecting children or whatever, or at least that's the accusation. Their recent headlines, for example, in the vegan category, they've got the Sam Bankman-Fried whines he isn't getting his ADHD meds, vegan meals. Fake meat is failing because it's gross and unhealthy. Mom refuses to get rid of her daughter's head lice because she's vegan. That's a good one. Nutritionist reveals scary truth behind the starvation diet of tragic vegan influencer. That's, I think, that thing we talked about a month or whatever it was, a couple weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
So they're not a pro-vegan site by any means. But this one, it's a parenting article that's in their category. It says, "I won't give my kid ice cream. They're never too young to be vegan." So the headline is a little bit, gets you fired up, I guess, if you're an anti-vegan, and that's probably
Yeah.
certainly that's who this is for. then the article, though, it just starts talking about this woman, and I'm waiting for the part that is like the outlandish thing she's doing, and there's nothing. It sounds like me. She says she raised her toddler on a strict diet of plant-based foods, making kid favorite foods like ice cream out of the question, which it's kind of true, but there are plenty of plant-based ice cream alternatives
Right,
that
of
you
course,
can't call
yeah.
them ice cream, but they're the same thing and they taste the same, and especially a 1-year-old not going to know the difference. So anyway, her son Jasper survives. So some of the word choice, I guess, is a little bit derogatory, but survives on a diet of oatmeal, coconut-based yogurt, various vegetables, chickpeas, beans, breast milk, and baby-safe supplements. I mean, that's like a perfect diet. So I don't. I guess someone would read that and say, "This kid's not getting nutrition." And the commenters say this should be called child abuse. By the way, if you go on and read those comments,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, I mean they're awful, and that's what you'd expect. Of course, it's like 20 of them, and they're just people just saying this is child abuse and how terrible it is, and all this other stuff. Anyway, the London-based mom expects pediatricians to raise an eyebrow when she reveals she's vegan, but he's totally healthy, or that he's vegan, but he's totally healthy. He's never once been sick, hit all his milestones. And then listen to this. I'm starting Jasper off on a plant-based diet until he's old enough for me to explain why. After that, he can make his own choices about what to eat. Perfect, reasonable. I think that's a great thing. That's been my approach to parenting. Like you have to start them one way. So
Yeah, sure.
it's your decision how they eat at the beginning. Pick what you think is best for them, and then let them decide. That's not everyone's approach, but how can you criticize that? Well, people do. Anyway, so she's an ethical vegan. She used to be vegetarian, went vegan when she realized how cow's milk was produced. I mean, it just sounds like me and everyone else I know who has like gone vegan and stayed vegan. It's just very kind of reasonable approach. Anyway, that's it. The article never gets bad. It just keeps talking about all these things she's doing. And it's like, okay, there's a vegan mom raising her child vegan. And
Yeah.
there's even a nutritionist chimes in about how a healthy gut can be supported through a well-balanced diet as long as they're getting this stuff. A plant-based diet can promote good gut health along with other benefits like a lower risk of heart disease and certain cancers. These are quotes from the nutrition. So like, I don't understand what they're doing with this article. It's just a nice article about a vegan parent.
I mean, maybe they're turning a page. Maybe they'll be the next plant-based news or something.
Maybe they're going that way.
Yeah.
I don't believe
the comments are terrible.
Oh, they're awful.
I mean, you should never read comments anyway, but they are really bad.
I mean, you have to wonder who leaves these comments. Like, who clicks on the article, starts reading, gets so angry, and then goes and writes that this is child abuse, and it's sad. I just don't get it. Healthy kids don't eat vegan diets.
Yeah.
Same type of nut job who will insist that her dog is vegan as well. Veganism is a cult. I really love vegetables, but this is a very bad idea.
Those kids should be taken away from her. She should be put in prison. Oh my gosh, these are crazy.
I think that's people who are used to reading the other New York Post articles where the people really do starve the kids or give them a diet that is not a healthy one. And then New York Post, lumps them in as vegans. And I think it's people who just assume that's what this is and they don't read the article. It has to be. You can't be a person who actually reads these words and then says this is child abuse. The thing says the doctors and nutritionists saying this is healthy for kids. It doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to. Of course, it's not.
Here's a good one. Because I don't know if you read the line, but at the top she says, "My kid, is totally healthy. He's hitting his marks. He's never been sick before." And then here's one. "Being vegan is totally unhealthy because being sick actually helps your immune system."
Yeah.
And so oh, okay. So we should make sure our kids. I mean, yes, being sick does help your immune system. Of course, it's important. But we should change their diet so they get sick more often.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you should not pick the healthier diet. But he just said being totally vegan is unhealthy. So it's unhealthy because it makes you so healthy you don't get sick, I guess is the logic.
Yeah, is the logic. Yeah. And then there's something about an ad.
The ad. It's all caps, by the way. The whole
all caps. Of course. You know what I'm not excited about? First day of school.
What?
It being sick for the next 6 months.
Oh yeah, that's right. You gotta do that. And that's it. Plus now you get two.
What?
There. Now you have two kids in there.
Yeah, I know. And last year was the worst.
Right.
with the 2 in there, and I imagine this year is gonna be just bad. Just I feel sick today, just anticipating the fact that I'm gonna be sick for the next 6 months.
Well, yeah. Well, at least you're eating a vegan diet, which will prevent you from getting sick the way you're meant to get sick.
hmm
All right. I don't know. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, I used to really care about people, but now you just have to wonder what is going on. That not that people think that way, just that people need to be so against something. It's just crazy. I just don't understand
Right,
it.
right.
And I'm sure no doubt there are vegans who go on paleo or keto sites or whatever and do the exact equivalent of that.
hmm
So I'm not saying it's us versus them. Well, I guess that happens, but it's just crazy. I don't know. It's just what are you gonna do? Nothing. There's
Yep.
no solution.
Dale says people lose their shiz when kids are fed real food, but they won't think twice when they talk about crazy pharmaceuticals or crap food.
Yeah. Although those people might. I don't know. Those people probably also don't like pharmaceuticals. But I don't know.
They probably don't like pharmaceuticals, but I bet this was an article about a kid getting a new like pre-made lunch thing every day. They wouldn't think
Yep.
twice about that.
You watch the video of at the top of that thing? They show her what she feeds the child each day, and she shows it. And most of it's healthy, but the very first thing she gives them is a vegan cheese stick. That's why I said that when you were talking about your kids reading. She said we start every day with one of these. She hands them like a big cheese stick.
Cheese stick for breakfast. I mean, I got nothing against. I know you have much stronger feelings about vegan cheese than I do, but that does seem like a weird thing to start your day with.
It doesn't fit the story, and although she's not
Yeah.
talking that much about health, she's talking really about ethics. So I guess it's okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, a little weird. One of the commenters said that anything plant-based meat is the devil's work or the devil or something like that. So that's where we are right now. All right.
Just spilled coffee on my computer.
Okay. Well, we'll end there so you can clean that up, and we'll be back tomorrow for our Thursday show, final show of the week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that'll get your computer cleaned up. Everyone else, enjoy your Wednesday, and we'll see you in a bit.
Sounds great.